Yes.
Thank you. We are recording.
So we're all,
Yeah, we're live.
we're live. Okay. I called tonight's working session meeting of the select board to order.
Yes, sir.
And we have to have checks to sign, correct?
I don't have any checks.
Okay,
I did not do any checks. There weren't any that
that had to be
were
done.
urgent. Yeah,
Okay,
but we have some
And-
other things that need to be signed.
and you processed the payroll for Kyle.
Yes, on
Okay.
Thursday.
You came in and signed it. Thank you.
We have Mandy Devino and Gina Damiano's oaths of office. I just need you guys to complete the appointed by, since they were approved by the board. And I have, two intent to cut. I have a sewer tax warrant number 4 of 4 for 2025.
And there's been no change, right?
Right, same dollar amount, 28 homes.
I make a motion that we approve and sign the sewer tax warrant. Number 4 of 4 for 2025.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have a contract here from Knollwood Energy. This is a renewable energy credit sale and purchase agreement. So this is tied to our solar array that's at the highway department. In addition to generating electricity for ourselves, we generate renewable energy credit. Renewable energy credits, which other companies purchase because they can use them as a financial benefit. in their businesses. So this agreement basically states that we will commit to sell our renewable energy credits to Knollwood Energy, and they will pay us minus a fee. They will pay us for those credits. So they're basically a broker. They buy them and then they sell them to other companies. So I'm sure you're going to want to read it. I did go through it briefly. I didn't tooth comb it. I did also talk to Jack Bingham, who is one of our contacts at Barrington Solar. He said that this is typical. And this is another benefit of having a solar array, is having those renewable energy credits that companies are looking to purchase.
And how many companies are there out there that do this brokerage work?
I am not 100% sure. I really didn't even know what it was
And is it competitive?
when I
guess?
got it. He said we could garner $900 or so a year from it. So I'm sure there's some competitiveness to it, but I can't imagine that it's super competitive. I would assume that the amount of credits that we're going to generate is not going to be humongous, like a huge solar array. So the opportunity to, get paid top dollar for the credits is probably not as big as it would be for someone like maybe Manchester, or,
Mhm.
someone who has a larger array. So I have the contract. I can email it to you. You can take the copy of it. You can look at it, whatever you want to do. I didn't tell them that we would be signing it today, just that I would put it in front of the board.
I'd like to take a look at it.
So I'll email this to you guys.
Thank you. And my question really is, should we be looking at others who provide the service? And I don't have the answer to that.
Yeah, and I don't really know how you would go about even doing, like, soliciting it.
Because for example, when I put solar panels up last year, nobody contacted me, but it's a small array.
Right. And that's my thought process. Jack does have experience with this energy company, so that's probably how
So
they,
he's worked with them, he didn't have
Yes.
anything bad to say.
correct,
Okay,
correct. He says, it's similar to stock, where the renewable energy credit sells into the market through a broker. Knollwood is a broker, and you would pay them a small percentage to sell your RECs into the market. And then they send payments to us quarterly. He recommends Knollwood because that's who he uses for his own projects. And then I
And-
asked him, like, can you give me a ballpark dollar amount? Like, what are we talking here? And he came back and said, the rate per REC is 31. Currently, it's 35. And so he said, we're looking at a neighborhood of $900 a year. Assuming.
and is Norwood this company? I'm sorry,
Knollwood,
because he said he used Norwood, right?
he uses them.
But this is a different company.
No, it's the same
It
company.
is the same company. That's my
Knollwood
question.
Energy, yeah.
Okay,
So I'll email that. I did print out the January 19th meeting minutes without the draft on it, but without Eric here. Joe Beth, you were the only other one who signed. Tom abstained, so I'll just hold on to those to the next meeting.
okay.
I do have the draft copies of the meeting minutes from February 2nd. These weren't emailed out. So,
I just finished these today, so.
yeah. So,
So we can review these next week.
yes,
We really want to focus on just the budget, especially the revenue piece.
correct.
Our regular business can wait until
Yep.
next week.
And then I just have a couple things after, well, really mostly one thing. after listening to the meeting from the second, where Kyle had mentioned that recycling was like $170 some a ton. In Casella's proposal, they actually had $32 a ton in their proposal for recycling. Although we don't have recycling in our contract specifically, we do have acceptable waste in our contract. And acceptable waste, recycling is listed as one of the items of acceptable waste in the proposal. So I'm pretty confused as to why they would quote us a dollar amount of $170 some a ton for recycling if it's considered acceptable waste per their proposal from December of 24. And acceptable waste is what they listed as taking from us in the contract.
And where they were going to charge us less for recyclables
Well,
in the original proposal. I
in
know
the
it changed.
original proposal, they were gonna charge us less, but in the contract, it specifically says under 2.5 fees, the town agrees to pay Casella the following fees for year one of the term. Disposal fees for acceptable waste at a rate of $55 per ton. And then there's the rental of the open containers, the hauling of the containers, and the mattresses. So while recycling is not specifically called out in the contract, it is one of the acceptable items in the proposal. Therefore, I would err on the side of caution and say that they should charge us $55 a ton because it is acceptable waste and not $32 a ton,
Or not 175.
but certainly not 170 something. We haven't received any bills from Casella since we took recycling there. Mike took 4 or 5 loads of recycling there in January and we've not received a Casella bill yet. So I don't know what they're going to be trying to charge us, but I would certainly argue that point. How you go from 32 in a proposal to 170 something, that doesn't make any sense.
It
At
seems
all.
like you should call and clarify.
Well, I'll see what the bill says when it comes.
Okay.
They should have the recycling that was taken there in January on that invoice, so. Sometimes they're a little slow at billing us for the stuff that we send there or stuff that they take or that we've dropped off. So, that leads me to another point in the meeting where Tom, you had mentioned that you had looked at the bills. Or you had looked at the tonnage and that you saw a large increase in tonnage at a certain point, like March, April.
Yeah.
And that's because they didn't charge us any tonnage in like January, February. And then in March, April, they charged us January, February tonnage. So if you look at the actual line items on the bills, it'll show the tonnage that was received and when it was received. So they didn't receive more tonnage or more waste during those periods. They just didn't bill us when they should have. So you can see when they actually received the waste.
Okay.
They
So-
did charge us for the rental of the box and I believe the transportation of the box, but they didn't bill us for the actual disposal of the trash for like 2 months afterwards. So that's why you would have seen that big spike and then it went back down.
I wonder why they did that.
I don't know.
All right.
It was about the same time, I think it was like the March or April bill. Because they were also trying to charge us like $45 per mattress or $55 per mattress. And I had to contact them and tell them that that was wrong because our contract is $19 per mattress. So it was on that same invoice, which I believe was like March or April.
So then, have we not, when did we start using the country store to sell bags?
I would say it was probably spring or early summer.
So that spike even was before that, so
I would have to go back and look at the deposits because that's the other thing is when they started selling them, we set it up that they pre-purchased the bags. So when they came and got bags, they paid for those out of their pocket. So there's boxes of bags that are in the town clerk tax collector office that shouldn't be there, because according to the meeting that you guys had last Monday, if they pre-purchased those bags, we were going to let them sell them. We weren't going to take them back.
Right,
So technically, those bags should have never been picked up because they have been paid for by the Dalton Country Store. So those bags really should go back, otherwise we're going to have to
yep.
cut them a check.
I'll have to ask how, why he, that was made clear, I know that.
Yeah, so, so those bags, I've not done anything with them, but those bags are sitting in the town clerk tax collector office. And if they would be willing to take them and sell them, I mean, they could just say, no, we want our money back, but I don't know. I've not been involved in any of that transaction since I was gone.
Right. And was
Um,
there an inventory of the bags? We're supposed to.
there is a piece of paper in there with numbers on it, yes. I did not check it. Like I said, I just looked at the boxes like, because I didn't know what they were until I listened to the recording, so. Kyle did come in when he came in to get his check from me on Friday. He did say that he met with, I don't know if he met or just spoke with Twin Mountain in Lisbon. And that they were gonna check with their select boards to see if they would be interested in working with us as far as our recycling goes. He said Twin Mountain Select Board meets tomorrow. And then he said he also spoke with Bethlehem, who is interested in working with us once they get their new transfer station built and going operational, I guess.
So Kyle should check with the store then to see if they'll take the bags back.
Yeah.
Um. So we send him an email tonight?
If we get out of here early enough, I'll call him and tell him that he needs to take care of that matter.
Yeah, I don't have an email for him. I always communicate with him via text message.
So you'll call him and let him know
Yeah,
that.
take it.
Okay. So I'd like to see that report that you gave Tom of the invoices from Casella.
What did were you just looking at the,
Because you gave him one, I think it just was what we'd paid out. So it would have been just, that's where it showed it was higher in March and April because.
oh, yeah,
it
yeah,
Included your.
it just had totals.
Okay,
I think it was just a register of the checks that we cut for Casella.
The
okay.
totals.
Yeah,
So you haven't gone in and looked at the invoices to really look at tonnage over time?
Right.
Because if we didn't even start using the store until late spring or early summer, then is there really an increase after we started using the store, or was that just the usual summer increase? I mean, I'd like to really look at that and do the analysis, and I guess that's what I tried to say last week, is we need to step back and do an analysis and then decide what we're gonna do. So I'd like to see a more detailed report about what we've been doing in terms of sending waste to Casella.
so what is it you want me to get? What is it? I mean, you said you wanted to see what I gave him, but that was just a check registered, not a check register, but a list of the payments that we made to Casella, I think is what I gave
Okay.
you, Tom.
Yeah,
So it really means I need to probably come in someday and look at the invoices and,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I mean, that's where you're gonna find the
That's what Tom
tonnage,
was gonna do, but.
right, in the analysis, yeah.
But I think if we're making these changes, we need to have that data. To make changes without that data just doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got to know when the increase actually happened, right? And
And how, if it compares to just the fluctuation we get every year.
right. Yeah,
Okay,
that's all I have. I do have a non-public. We have I had sent Mandy an email I reread her right to know request, and I noticed that she had January 2025 to February 2026. And I sent her an email asking for confirmation and whether she meant January 2026 to February 2026. Because I thought in the meeting that the discussion was what happened at the February 2nd. Was there an HCA meeting February 2nd?
Yes.
Okay, so I thought the discussion was circling around the February 2nd HCA meeting and what took place there. But Mandy confirmed that she is looking for her right to know does encompass January 2025 through February 2026. So what I need from the select board members is the information on any conversations, emails, so on and so forth that took place between the board and our legal counsel between January of 2025 and February of 2026.
And is it just related to the HCA?
The warrant article.
Okay. Warrant article, okay.
That was.
So we probably can get that from, we've got the log that we started keeping of our interaction with legal. That information, I'll take,
He's got that written down on, the billings. The bills that he sends out, he'll put down.
right, and then I've
So-
got a log, so I can look at that and
Yeah.
see if that will suffice and make sure nothing needs to be redacted.
Mm.
I don't know, does your log include anyone else's conversations?
Include the whole board, because we were using it to review the invoices.
Okay,
Because otherwise we'd get these invoices, and so quite often I had to go out to you and Eric and say, what is this for?
right. And that's why we started keeping a log. I just don't
Yeah.
recall as to whether everyone was doing that log.
I know at a certain point I had done it with every invoice that we'd received.
Okay.
I don't know that I've kept it up for the end of the year.
Okay, well, we didn't,
I don't
I don't
we
think there
had
were a
much
lot of
at the end
invoices at the end of the year. but-
So,
Okay, so you guys will work on that and get me whatever's needed then. Collectively?
so I have nothing about contact with legal this year. I know you said you contacted them, but we need the details about that. When, how long, what was
I
discussed?
sent it out.
I
I
haven't
think
seen
you
it.
just said you had one conversation that lasted 3 minutes, but you didn't say when and what you discussed. So
Yeah,
topic,
about the HCA,
okay, so I just need that information in your response. Cause
And-
otherwise I'm
that's all I
assuming,
got.
And include the date.
Yeah.
Mandy?
Amanda Zavino, 511 Simons Road. You had mentioned, Tom, in the HCA meeting that the lawyer had said that the warrant article wasn't legal.
No, I
So
didn't say it wasn't legal. I don't
That's-
recall that, let's put it that way.
it was in the video. You did say that.
I don't,
So
I didn't-
what I'm asking for is, if there's any controversy, could we please have that information so that we better understand where legal is coming from? If it is not a legal warrant article.
I'll write it a little bit plainer.
So for a right to know, there is material that would be considered attorney-client privilege that wouldn't be subject to a right to know. And the attorney was here when we had that special town meeting
Mhm.
and said that it was binding.
right, cause he helped us reword it.
At the meeting, right?
Yes, he helped us rewrite the actual warrant. So, okay, well then I will wait to get formal response and then I will send it to you formally.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So I did not print a bunch of copies because not a whole lot changed, so you guys can just flip through this. I'll tell you what I updated. Joe Beth, I made the correction for the planning board on the inside cover. I put together the dedications. There's 2 per page. I got 2 to fit on each page there. There's a placeholder still for the warrant and a placeholder for the 636. Then the MS-61 was in there. The town clerk report is new. The treasurer's report is new. This MS-9, I removed the start of the cemetery savings accounts because those aren't published in the book. Just the capital reserve funds are. So that you'll see, you might notice that in there. And I think that was
The
it.
HCA summary was
The
updated.
HCA summary is updated, yep. And the one update, Joe Beth, that you made on the resident death report. I did not modify this because this gets printed directly from the state vital records
Okay.
website, so I just use what they give me. I don't know why it's not on there. And I don't want to speculate. So
Okay.
it didn't come up. I captured the first of the year through the end of the year and it was not included there, so it's not on there. Otherwise, everything else I think is the same.
And were there some changes at the back page too?
There's changes on the back inside cover, and then there's a placeholder for unpaid taxes.
Okay.
So we just need to figure out the warrant. Go over the revenues, the anticipated revenues for 2026, which I know we're gonna do tonight. And then I have not heard from the attorney. I sent him an email as the tax collector asking about a possible warrant article that we would need to do for veterans. I think it's HB 99 was signed into law in May of last year by Governor Ayotte, where it no longer allows towns to stack veteran credits. So I did ask the assessor and he said we didn't need to do anything, but I just want to make sure, because the one time we didn't think we needed to do anything, we did need to do something, and then we had to do a big something, and it was really not a lot of fun on my end. So I'm trying to avoid having an oops. So I sent that to the attorney on Friday, but I haven't heard anything. I reached out to him again today and said, hey, I just want to make sure you got my email and that you're going to be able to reply by Thursday. Otherwise, there were no petition warrant articles received while I was out. So we don't have to worry about any of those. We just have the capital reserve warrant articles. And then once we have the budget hearing on Thursday, as long as everything is good with that, then I have to put everything into the system for the 636. And everything's got to balance. So that's what I'll be doing
And
this
that
weekend.
sounds simple, but it isn't always with the DRA portal.
I'll be spending my anniversary doing that probably.
Oh, no.
It's fine.
And when do you have to get the annual report to the printer?
So he wanted it before the 16th, and then I told him the 16th is a holiday. So he said if he could get it first thing in the morning on the 17th,
But he'd rather have it earlier.
he'd rather have it earlier. The earlier, the better.
Okay.
Yeah. And really, the 636 is what's approved in the budget hearing. So.
Yeah. Okay.
If worst case scenario, if we end up having to have a second budget hearing, we will probably put the book to print and then have to just insert the 636. Hopefully, we don't have to do that.
And were we going to include Linda even though she was included in one?
No,
Okay, 'cause she was in last year's, right? Or the year before?
yes.
Okay. Did we want to put the Zoom link in here or no? Yeah, I know we don't have a lot of room
No. We put it on
on
the,
the width.
I put it in the calendar, because then if
Okay.
something changes,
Right. Then we,
then it's wrong.
okay.
And just as soon as you think it's not gonna change, it changes.
Nothing ever stays the same.
Right.
Had you looked through your earlier draft and noted anything that needed to be changed?
What's that again?
Had you looked through the earlier draft and noted anything that needed to be changed or
As far as the select board report?
it's the whole annual report?
Yeah, I glimpsed through it, but I'm not,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
So then. The next thing I guess would be, do we want to talk about the warrant articles for the fire department? I know that you guys touched on those at the meeting on the second.
Yes.
I think really the only one that was in question was the fire department vehicle, right?
Right.
And I think in our earlier meeting. It was agreed that we were gonna increase that to 55,000. I don't know if you guys were planning on staying with that after last week's conversation and your analysis, which I won't lie, I haven't dug into.
Yeah, no, that, I think that's, I'm seeing that we had already approved that as what we put forth in the warrant article, so I think we're all set
Okay.
on that. And the analysis confirms that you should be asking for at least that.
Okay,
And then I think for the budget hearing and probably our town meeting, we should probably put up on the screen, the analysis for the highway and for the fire department.
I'll have those
Okay.
available for the, yep,
Okay, and that way we can show the difference of doing 55,000 and what we need to take out for a bond in a few years if we
okay.
do less.
The only other warrant article that was pending was, and I don't think we talked about this before I left for vacation, was the money that we received from FEMA. So originally, the conversation was that the town would vote and where to put that money. So if the town wants to replenish the capital reserve for paving, then that needs to be done via a warrant article. and she gave me very basic verbiage for that.
Okay,
So I can certainly add that warrant article. I guess we probably should come up with a preliminary number that we would say to put in there. Do we want to put in half of what we use? Do we want to replace all of what we used? Do we not want to put anything in there? Essentially, what I got from DRA is anything that's not reallocated to a capital reserve fund that we took it out of just stays in general funds and rolls right into our,
fund balance
thank you.
at the end of next,
At-
of this
At the
year.
end of 2026, it will just roll into our fund balance, which then, depending on how things go this year, could make it available
To
when we
offset
set the
tax.
tax rate for 2026.
Okay, help me remember, what is our balance in the paving?
Right now, our balance is essentially zero
Okay,
because we used a portion of that.
and how much did we use last year? And the reports in there, right? In the annual report,
Oh, yeah,
the
Yeah.
current numbers. I mean, I could pull up my
Nope.
last.
I just was trying to think, where am I gonna get that? And it's right in here.
Yep.
So for paving, this year we withdrew $77,500.
In 2025.
Yes, for
Okay.
2025, yes.
Okay,
That's what I mean, yeah. For 2025, we withdrew from paving $77,500.
which was basically all we had in there.
Yeah, we have an ending balance of $1,896, so $1,900.
Okay. Did we also take from the highway department?
We took from the highway department for the repair of the equipment, like 11,405.
Because the fund balance is zero.
No, our fund balance is,
200 or 300?
hold on, I'll tell you. I think, maybe not. No, because it doesn't have all that in here. Fund balance is almost 300,000, I think. Between, I think it's like 274, something like that.
That sounds about right. But that's from my memory, so I don't trust it. And how much did we use of the fund balance? Like 75K?
Yes. No, we used like 30 something thousand. That was in 24 though. We didn't use any fund balance in 25. In 24, we were approved to use, I think, 175,000, but I think we used like 30 or 40,000.
Okay,
I'm rounding numbers.
and we paid off the loan.
Yep, we took a $300,000 loan in 24 for our tan. No, we took a $200,000 loan for our tan. And then in 2025, in the fall, we took the other 300,000 of the 5 that we were allowed, and both have been paid off.
What was the first one?
I think it was 200. We were allowed 5 total on that 2024 tan, and we utilized all of it. We just did it in 2 separate.
But it was for road repair.
Uh,
I mean, we had a little bit. 'cause
well,
we had
it was
to
for
pay-
everything. I mean,
I mean,
it
but
it went
because-
into our general funds. We needed it because of,
of the road repair.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah, we needed it for cash flow.
yeah. And we've got a little bit over $1 million back at FEMA in 2025.
Yes.
26,000.
Accepted in 2025 by the board, yes.
Okay. So, paving, it takes us so long to build up anything so we can, at 75,000 a year, so we can do anything. I think we should definitely replenish what we took out, but I think we should put more in there as well.
Yeah, if this is, I mean, because paving is expensive, it should be replenished.
Just don't forget that we've got 75,000 already in the capital reserve to go in.
And
That's what we put in each year, right?
So if we doubled that with the FEMA money, that would be 150,000.
Mhm.
And so that'd be basically doing 3 years worth in 1 year, which would help get us back up. So instead of doing 75,000, we've got 75,000 plus 150.
Oh, gotcha.
So
So you're
you're-
saying put half of what we used in 24 back in?
Put basically all of what we used, which was a 77,500.
No, 77,500 was in 2025.
Okay, what did we do in 2024?
I think it was 300,000.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
That makes more sense.
Yes,
Okay, okay, so,
I don't have those files on this computer.
so I think as a minimum, we should add back in 400,000. Which basically just covers a little less than what we took out for road repair the last 2 years.
Yeah,
And I think that's the baseline. We might want to look at putting in more.
we get any prices from Adam on what's gotta be done and how much or anything?
We're looking at, for mitigation, do we have, I know you put in for an extension. Do we have any numbers associated with that?
No. No, I mean, he's gotta get me numbers for the work. Some of the work that's not done yet, some of it includes paving, but I don't know what the value of that is.
Okay. Did we take anything from the highway department one in 2024?
No,
Okay. So we took 11,400 for equipment repair. Some of that's wear and tear due to the flood.
well, that's all greater.
The grader, which was, okay. And what's the balance in the highway department?
0 for the equipment is 0.
It's 0?
Yep.
I mean, we could look at putting 100,000 into the highway equipment fund.
Are you gonna spend the whole million?
Well, that's,
Sorry, I gotta ask.
I mean, that's where I'm just throwing these numbers out and writing them down and then adding them up in my head. That would leave us like 500,000 into the fund balance.
How much you saying for the equipment?
If we, and these are just, this is just off the
I know
top of
what
my
you
head. I mean, these numbers are subject to change. If we put 400K into paving, which I think is a minimum
Mm-hmm.
to cover what we took out of it. And if we put 100K into the highway department fund, because it has basically nothing now after we took 11,000 out.
I may have to ask if we can do that with the highway department fund. Putting 375,000 into paving might not be an issue because we took that out.
Oh, but
putting
if we put
money-
more into might be.
And putting it somewhere where it wasn't taken out of might be an issue.
Okay,
I don't think we can say, hey, we got $1 million, where do we want to put it? I think we can say, hey, we got $1 million. We borrowed 375 from here, let's put that back.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? I don't,
And then the rest would cut, so then next year. We could add back in from our fund balance, but we couldn't do this add additional this year.
Well, you could increase, you could increase what your capital reserve contribution is this year. Do you know what I'm saying? Instead of
Right,
putting
'cause we already have them
55,000 in there, or
so we
putting
could-
55 in there, say, instead of putting 55 in there, we want to add 45 from what we got from FEMA and put 100 in there.
Okay,
Do you see what I'm saying?
yep, I do.
Instead of saying, we're gonna put 55 in as a regular capital reserve contribution, but then we want to put 100 in from FEMA money. Do you get what I mean?
Right, so basically from the FEMA. We'd be looking at 77,500. Plus the 300,000. So we'd be looking at 377,500
Mm-hmm.
into the paving fund. And we'd be looking at 11,405. I'll just round it to 11,400 into the equipment repair,
Well, it's a highway equipment.
highway equipment, right? Then we could also ask for additional money for paving. Usually we do 75. Okay. We could look at additional.
Or you could just leave it at 75K, because if we do 377.50 and then you do 75, you're looking at almost $450,000. What do we need to pave right now? That's not FEMA.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know we don't normally do paving it, but every few years because
Right.
we try to do asphalt repave.
Driveway needs to be, parking lot needs to be done.
Yeah.
It's in pretty bad shape.
We had complaints about French Road.
Yeah. I mean, I think what's probably a good idea is to get the paver out here and say, hey, these are the jobs we need to get done. What kind of price could you give us if we do it in 2026? And if we have to push something to 2027. I mean, he may not be able to give us those numbers, but at least then we have an idea of 2026, it was gonna cost this. We know it's gonna cost at least that going into 2027.
Yeah,
In that decent stretch of French Road only costs $19,000, so. Are we talking about repaving all of French Road?
did we fix what was the bad part that we were getting complaints about?
Yes,
Okay,
and there's paving that needs to be done on French Road that's part of FEMA. There's paving that needs to be done, I think, at Union and Harriman, that's part of FEMA,
okay.
so,
That hasn't been put in yet.
no. It hasn't been done and we haven't submitted to be reimbursed for it because we haven't done it,
Right.
but it's there. So the plan with Adam was, he was going to talk to the contractor and say, this is the paving I need to get done. This is when I'm looking at having it ready. You know, can you commit?
And he may or may not have done that.
Right.
Okay. And we likely won't get answers by Thursday.
I could get in touch with, he's actually supposed to come see me tomorrow morning.
Adam?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've already decided we would ask for 75K in the paving and in the highway equipment, just as a regular warrant article.
Well, the equipment was 55.
I'm sorry, you're right. Which would be what we would foresee as the annual amount that we would do every year. because we have the FEMA money, we could put additional in. If we put an extra 100K into both of those, then
Those,
that's
the
using less.
equipment, the trucks. You pulled together
Mhm.
a. For replacement down the road,
Yeah,
and that the equipment should be set up that way as well.
It is.
it is.
Within, I mean, right in that whole package right there with the truck and all,
I'm sorry?
with that whole package of the truck. Of the, the plow trucks that they got, the small plow trucks.
Yeah, what we have is they would replace the big one. Get a second big one. When one of the other one goes, they don't replace it.
No, I'm just talking about when that time comes, if you put, put money aside, so when it is needed for a new truck, we got money there.
And that's why we're trying to decide what to put into there, like for extra this year,
Mhm.
because we have the FEMA money. Yeah, because when I did this, looking at 55,000 a year, by the time we get to 2028, when we need to purchase a used 10-wheeler dump truck, that's presumably we get the new one with the grant money, we'd be in a $25,000 deficit. And then in 2030, with a replacement truck, F-550 equivalent, we'd be in a $65,000 deficit. So right there, we could easily use another 100,000 just so we've got money in the bank. And if we put another 100,000 in to paving, so on top of the 75, that'd be 175K just in our regular warrant article. And for the highway equipment, it'd be 155K just for the regular warrant article. Basically, we'd use a little bit under 600,000 of the 1,026,000. So we still have money that's going into our fund balance that if we don't use next year, it'd go into our general account. And at the end of the year, it can roll into our fund balance. Does that seem reasonable to you?
Well, it's always nice to be prepared. I mean, it's FEMA money and, so, as long as we replace back, and it looks like we're replacing back what we took.
Right.
So,
And then an extra 100K in both of these capital reserve funds.
mhm.
What if we did 100 in the highway equipment and 50 to the paving?
We could do that. We could also do some for the fire equipment too. Because we're looking at if we did 55K per year, we're looking at when we need to buy, like in a few years, being short 117,000.
I mean, I think it's a better idea to take part of that paving and put it towards fire, if you're gonna do that. I mean, if you're looking at spending the money. I guess I don't foresee us spending $500,000 in paving in the next year or two.
I don't think, as far as paving goes, I don't think you're gonna do it all at once anyways. And I think as far as from what I know about paving, depends on who you use too.
Mhm.
Our driveway out here, I would think it could be done between $35,000 and $45,000. Of course, I haven't seen the other roads and how much has to be done, so I don't. Adam's got to speak on that, I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm just remembering what Bob used to tell us,
Mm,
that he could only do a short road every few years
mm.
with that, so that's why I'm thinking maybe we should try to add more. If we added another 100K to the fire, which would be, so we'd add a fire vehicle account. You know, that would help us in a few years. And then we'd still have about 300,000 into the general account, which could roll into the fund balance at the end of the year.
I don't know.
I think,
If they're planning on getting a truck, I mean, you're gonna get it one way or the other.
Yeah, but do we go out for a bond and take a loan and pay interest? Or
You
can
know
we
what my
save up?
point is? My point is that you're gonna be getting one way or the other. If
Yeah.
you get the money, great. If you don't, then.
So it's better to have the money. It's just like
Yeah.
saving up if your refrigerator dies, having the money you can go out and buy, and you don't have to buy it on time and pay interest.
so what if you did 377.5 to replenish what we took out of paving,
Mhm.
do an additional 100 to the highway equipment? And then instead of doing 55, do 100 to the fire vehicle.
Okay, hold on, I think. Okay, so I think we're set. We would definitely, on the warrant article about the FEMA money, right?
Mhm.
We would at least have 377,500 going into paving,
Yep,
11,400 going into the equipment repair.
yep.
Which is just the highway department one, right?
Yes, highway department CRO
Okay,
for equipment capital reserve.
okay. And I guess I was thinking that on top of what we would ask for the paving, highway and fire, we would add an additional 100K that would go into the capital reserve. We propose that as a regular warrant article
So you're gonna put an additional 100K where?
in paving, in the highway equipment and in the fire EMS vehicle.
So you wanna spend 700 of the million?
Yeah. You look dubious, so explain.
I don't think we need to put that much extra in paving. I just don't see us doing that much paving.
Okay,
I could be wrong, but there's paving that needs to be done, but some of that paving, the worst areas of that paving is FEMA areas, so I think putting $475,000 in paving is $500,000 of money. That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Okay,
And I would rather see, we're gonna put 377.5, maybe put another 50. Or put another 75. I would really like to see as much money as possible go into fund balance. Because it gives us the opportunity, hopefully, if we are good with our spending this year, it gives us the opportunity to go back and make a difference when we set the tax rate for 2026.
true.
I think, I mean, I think
300,000
really,
too.
yes, I
Yeah.
mean, every little bit helps, but 400,000 or 500,000 is gonna help more than 300,000. And I
Okay.
think this year especially is gonna be a really difficult year, and I think we need to really do a good job of making sure that what we're spending needs to be spent, and we need to try and grab every grant dollar that's available out there, even if we have to spend it first and get it back. I mean, the solar is a perfect example. We paid $5,000 for a $90,000 solar system.
Yeah. And the FEMA money, we had to put the money up front, but
Right,
we got over $1 million back.
yeah. And some, we got more.
We've got more coming.
We got $27,000 from them the end of January. So that's the final payment on Smith Road.
Yeah.
I already set the public hearing for it, but I mean,
Okay.
it's, you know,
Okay, so the direct reimbursements would be paving and highway. And then what about if we ask for a total of 100K from the regular warrant article into paving?
I wouldn't.
You just do the 75?
Yep.
What do you
Cause
think,
if you do
Tom?
100K, that's adding to people's tax bill for this year.
Okay,
If you're gonna, yeah, I wouldn't. If you're gonna do the 377.5. If you do the 75 that we would normally do, that puts us at 450 already.
okay.
That's what I propose.
Tom, what do you think?
I think 375 is still kind of high for that paving.
Well, that's just replenishing what we took out.
That's what we had there prior to,
That's what we took out to use
from
to
paving.
help with FEMA. Yep. 300 last year and 77.5 this year.
And I'd just leave it at 375 and give them a break on the ask and don't put another 75 on the warrant article.
I think you need to do that. I mean, that's your annual
Why?
cause that's your annual contribution.
It doesn't matter, it can be done another year. It doesn't mean it has to be done every year. The thing about it is trying to help our residents to be able to maintain a little bit here. You know, I know a lot of people get the money and it doesn't bother them, but there are a lot of elderly out there that are struggling.
No, I understand, and I think I'm also looking at when we set the tax rate in the fall, that's when we'll have more fund balance and we can adjust the tax rate. We
Right.
can't do anything about the taxes this year. That rate's already been set.
Right.
So it's not going to, this will be part of the equation for next year, next fall. I think there's some value for having consistency year to year.
Yeah, cause then it's gonna be, well, we didn't have to do it last year. Why do we need to do it now? And I think that's your normal contribution. You should do it. I think we should replenish what we used and do the regular contribution, but nothing in addition to that. That's what I think. That puts us right back where we were before the disaster happened. Plus what we would normally contribute. So it would be as if the disaster never happened. As far as that capital reserve account goes. minus the chump change we would have earned in interest. I can see putting extra in for the highway equipment because we know that we're gonna need it. I mean, even if we do get the grant that gets us a new dump truck, we've got to pay it, we'll get it back, which means it'll be back in the account for when we need to replace the next truck. Right? So this is just building, it's just gonna continue to build onto the next truck and the next truck and the next piece of equipment. Because we know that our equipment is tired and our trucks are dying. So.
So
that's
if we
my thought.
added, we talked about upping that to 55K. And if, because we have FEMA money, we add an extra 100K, that's gonna help us down the road in terms of having money for those replacements.
It means no loan or no bond.
So that would mean that in addition to the 11,400 reimbursement, we would put 155K into highway equipment. And if we did the same thing for fire EMS, basically a 400K going into our general fund that could roll over to our fund balance.
You can if you want, let the people speak and find out. In that sense, I mean,
I'm sorry, say again?
I said you can do what you think you need to do, and let the public speak. No matter what I say, you're gonna keep arguing with me that I'm wrong, so I mean. And I don't wanna sit here all night arguing about it, I mean. I'm not trying to be a jerk about this whole thing, I don't understand the whole thing well enough. Because when you pass these out and you got a revenue report of $4,230,000. It doesn't make sense to me that our taxes are still going up. It doesn't, and and granted, I know out of that, $1 million plus was from FEMA, for the flood.
And we couldn't use FEMA because it hadn't been accepted by the town yet.
Right,
So
but I'm
we
just
could use
saying,
that in setting up.
all
tax
I am
rate.
trying to say is that we got a considerable amount of monies. And I don't understand why it keeps going up. It doesn't, and you're talking about being consistent. I believe in being consistent. But Jeanette's good with her numbers. She's good at doing the bookwork. But it's beyond me.
You have to remember, Tom, if I could just interject, and I apologize for interrupting, but I want you to understand that that revenue report includes property taxes.
Yeah,
And the property taxes, you have to remember school and county comes out of that. Off the top. So our property taxes that are included in that revenue report includes the money, $500,000 that we collect for the county. And now we're at 1.3
what's
million for
school-
education.
Who pays the school a little over $1 million? Million.
The school we pay, now our school bill right now is $109,000 a month. So that's included, that's what we collect, but the school and the county money just gets funneled through our tax bill.
Yeah.
It's not money that we get or get to keep. So it's skewed, that revenue report is skewed, which is why when I do the revenue and we look at just our revenue, I try not to include that because that's not included in our anticipated revenue that DRA looks at. just so that you understand, and it makes it very confusing, but our property taxes are not considered regular revenue for the town.
So if you look at the anticipated revenue column, we don't have anything for property taxes there.
Right,
That's
And then we're
why,
looking at 795,000.
let me share the screen that has that. Hopefully, we don't have any technical issues. So here in the 2025 revenues, you'll see I have. You'll see I have that posted in here because that's what the report is saying, right? That we got 2.3 million. That's what we collected in property taxes, but
Right.
that's not considered revenue to DRA. When
right,
we do our anticipated revenue, property taxes are not in that equation. That's why you see zero there. So at the end of the day, really, you've got to look at this 4.2 million minus certain things like capital reserve. That's money that just goes from this account that we have to this account that we have. That's not really revenue, so to speak. So that's 113,000. Municipal property sales. I mean, sure, we have properties that could be deeded, but we don't own any properties right now that we can, you know, conservatively say, yep, we're selling those, right? So, that right there. And you've got to take those few things into consideration. Meals and rooms tax. I believe that in the budget that was approved for the state in 2025, I think, and I'm still kind of not 100% clear on it, but I don't think they're giving towns anything for meals and rooms tax. So that's $94,000 we received in 2025 that we may not get for next year.
And there's a bill that would change the allocation formula
Right.
too. And I
So-
don't know how that would affect us.
I know for sure, roughly, we're gonna get about 159,000 from FEMA. Because that's what I'm saying, this is what I've billed you for that you haven't paid me yet. Or this is what we received, but we didn't accept it in a public hearing until 2026,
Mhm.
right? So. You've got to take all those things into consideration. We can only,
And am I correct that with the pilot money, we didn't get our second half of 2025 until 2026?
and we didn't even get all of it. We got a $6,900 payment on a $69,000 bill. Yes,
That came in January?
yeah, February? Yeah, I think I got it after I got back from vacation.
Oh,
So, you can look at it and say, yeah, we should be getting $4 million if we have about the same property tax bill, but you can't, you don't include that in
and
there.
we had a 5-year agreement with them, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
So, I mean, they're paying 8% interest, which is great for us, but it's not great for, cash flow. So you can look at it and say, hey, we brought in $4 million last year. Why are my taxes going up? Right? Because my taxes should only be, my tax bill is $2 million. How come we got double the amount of what the tax bill is, but my taxes went up? You got to dissect it. And it's confusing. It took me a whole year to figure it out.
And I appreciate that she's doing, because when I was doing it, I spent hours and hours and hours trying to get things reconciled.
And it's,
And with what DRA wanted for reporting, it's not easy.
and some of it is as clear as mud, even for me. I'm still somewhat fighting with our bookkeeper right now because for certain items, she has the tax warrant amount, not what we've actually collected. So that's why I have some different numbers than what's on that report. Because she's putting in the warranted amount. So it's
Okay.
not as clear and as easy as it should be.
That's for sure.
So,
So I guess I'm thinking that this isn't our opportunity to do two things with fire and EMS. We're looking at, we need to plan for replacing vehicles, so we need to ask as a regular ongoing, we need to ask for more every year. Because that's just coming up and it's gonna bite us in the, if we don't plan ahead. And I feel a lot more comfortable saying that, having the data, having the report, looking at what's forecasted and planning it out. You know, those reports I did for the highway department and for the fire CapEx. And then it seems like, to me, and this is, you know, this is what I want feedback on. For the highway and the fire ones, might be an opportunity to put an extra 100K into each of those to just bump them up so that we're in better shape as we replace the aging equipment.
Well, at the end, the town is the one that's gonna vote on it.
Exactly, they are, and I think we need to lay it out for them and
Yeah.
show them the options. But it's our decision in terms of what we propose and what we put forth in the warrant.
well, and I think if the people are uncomfortable with it, then they'll cut it and they'll say, we're not good with that dollar amount. How about this?
And we can show the different scenarios.
And you gotta start somewhere. That's it.
Yeah.
You've gotta start somewhere. That's why I just look at it and say the heavy equipment, the highway heavy equipment and the fire department equipment. To me, I think is going to be a more immediate need
Than the
than
paving.
paving.
So that would mean that we'd still have about 400K that goes into our general fund that should roll over into the fund balance. Does that sound reasonable?
Nothing, sounds good to me, but I mean, this comes a point, you, like I said, you're gonna let the town vote on it. I'm trying to figure out how to, I'm not putting my name on this. I'm not saying you didn't do a good job, I think, you know, but but,
So Tom, in
Okay.
terms of process, we have to move forward.
yes, exactly,
And,
so,
and we need, with just you and I here, and not Eric's not here, we need both of us to vote so that we can get the warrant. So that it's ready to go for the budget hearing.
yeah, you can put that down for the budget here and let them speak,
This is not finalizing anything. It gets
Right,
finalized.
the town meeting
That's
will
what I'm
finalize
saying.
it, but it's what
Right.
we're putting forward. But
so,
we're gonna need, we're gonna need you to approve it going into the proposed warrant article. The town gets to approve at vote at town meeting. But we need to put something forth. That's our responsibility as a select board to try to do the best that we can to manage the town's funds and to look forward in terms of equipment replacement. Because we have an obligation to maintain our roads and plow and all of that, and our equipment is very old and aging.
and then we gotta take care of the equipment in order to.
Okay. For the warrants, we've already approved most of them.
And I have to make sure we can put additional money. We could take money from FEMA and put it in the highway equipment and the fire department equipment.
Well, but if we put it with our regular warrant article, it's coming from our general fund, which is where the balance of the FEMA money is going to reside, right?
Yes. Yes,
So basically what we're looking at is a little under 400,000 from FEMA would replenish the capital reserve funds,
right,
which would leave us with about 600,000 of FEMA money into our general fund.
Right.
From that, we're proposing to take an extra 200K to add to the request for the highway and fire
yes,
equipment, CRFs.
yes. So for about 400 would go to,
We
Fund
remain in the
balance.
general fund,
and go to fund balance, hopefully.
right?
Yeah.
So we'll need to figure out how to present that in a simplified manner.
Yeah, I'll get with Jamie.
Okay. So I'm proposing that we, depended on feedback from DRA, that we propose for the warrant for the budget hearing, that we will replenish the paving capital reserve fund with 377,500 from FEMA money. We'll replenish the highway equipment fund with $11,400 from the FEMA reimbursement. That will, the balance of that, which is approximately, I don't have the
Approximately 600,000.
600,000 will go into our fund balance. Not our fund balance, excuse me, our general fund. From the general fund. And we may want to do this in a separate warrant article. Like have the standard article to put 55,000 into the highway department CRF, have a second warrant article to put an additional one-time 100,000 into that capital reserve fund. Would that make it clearer? To have two warrant articles?
I think that's gonna make it more complicated.
Okay,
That's my opinion. People are gonna say, why are we doing 2 warrant articles now?
okay.
But that's just.
So
my
for a
opinion.
general warrant article, we would ask for 155,000 to go into the highway CRF and 155,000 to go in the fire EMS.
And then we could show
Yeah.
your spreadsheets and explain why.
Right.
How much into the fire?
155 total for the year.
So I think I just made a motion. Do we have a second?
Again,
All in favor?
even if I nay this, it will still go through.
No, then we're stuck. And we can't do, we have to do the business of the town. So we really need to go forward on
You
this.
have to approve us using these warrant articles.
I'm
It's-
okay with some of it. I'm not okay with everything. And I don't know how to explain it to you right now. It's,
It's
I
not,
don't wanna get into any,
it's
So-
not really, how do I explain? It's not really you personally agreeing with it. It's you saying, I'm okay with the select board moving forward with it. It's not your personal agreement with it. It's saying, I approve the select board using this to move forward. Do you understand? You're not giving your personal vote. You're giving your selectman's vote to say, I'm okay with this warrant article being issued. Because at the end of the day, even if you did agree with it, if the town doesn't agree with it, it doesn't matter. If you don't agree with it, but the town agrees with it, it doesn't matter. You're just as a selectman saying, I'm okay with you pushing these warrant articles forward for the town meeting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And that's all FEMA money that's being,
Yeah,
Yes, it's all
Well-
FEMA money.
yeah, I mean. So what we're looking at the end of the day is. We would still have about 400K going into our in our general fund
Staying in
from
it.
FEMA money. Staying in our general fund.
but you just get into and you're gonna put another two to make it 600,000.
So
We have 6.
we have 377.
You got 6 there now, Sam?
We have 1,000,000. 400 is going into paving,
Right. I
which
understand
is
that.
going in between paving and highway equipment. So 1,000,000 minus 4 gives us 6. She wants to take 1,000,000, or not, sorry, 100,000 and put it over here in highway equipment. That takes us down to 5. She wants to take another 100,000 and put it over here in fire department equipment. That takes us down to 4. That 400,000 stays in their general funds and potentially goes to fund balance to help when we set the tax rate for 2026. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think I got it, JoBeth. Did, as long as I got it, otherwise she could keep going. You should just use round numbers.
Approximately.
Told you.
I don't really care.
Round numbers.
That's it.
You must have put everybody online to sleep. They're all gone.
Hopefully they'll be at the hearing.
I was gonna say, I don't know how we put them to sleep because this is all really juicy stuff, right? $400.
Does that help?
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it's easier to look at that and go, yeah, it makes sense instead of in your head. Trying to,
I mean, I had to write it down so I could.
Where does this go from here? This,
So this will go. Jeanette will verify that this is what we can do with DRA. She will update the warrant article. We'll have that available at the budget hearing. We'll have this summarized at the budget hearing to present to people, along with the highway and the fire department equipment.
and we're supposed to get a big snowstorm and people probably ain't gonna show up.
that's
so-
Wednesday, Tuesday night into Wednesday. Our budget hearing is Thursday night.
Okay.
We should be fine.
And
Okay.
then from there, it gets either approved or not.
Well,
We take feedback after, we've got a meeting posted after, a select board meeting after the budget hearing. Hopefully, we can approve the budget and the warrant on Thursday night after the budget hearing.
So I can.
Otherwise, we'll have to have another budget meeting, which we already have posted in case we have to have it. And then we have to have, by the second one, we have to decide, because it has to go to DRA, it has to go into our warrant, we have to post the warrant, we have all these timelines that we have to follow. Okay, so I'm gonna call the vote again just to make sure. All in favor of putting this forward as our proposed warrant article, changes to the warrant articles?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Anticipated revenue. The other piece that we have to
Yep.
complete tonight.
So.
So we don't include property taxes on the anticipated
Can
revenue.
everybody see it? Do I need to blow it up some?
Yeah, it's good.
I can see it.
Okay.
Okay. Land use change tax, is that a pretty good estimate?
Yes, we did 37.2 this year because we had under canvas,
Okay,
which was about 20 grand, so. I'm comfortable with 15
okay, yield taxes are
timber,
timber and,
just timber,
okay.
just timber.
All right, we already talked about the pilot, because they haven't paid all of their bill for 2025, so it's higher in 2026.
Yep.
Excavation.
Yep.
2,500.
Yep.
Other taxes, that's gone up. What are
That
the,
is, sewer. That's sewer taxes. That's what we issue in warrants every year.
okay,
So
I got a question on all that. Instead of putting other, why wouldn't you put it down what it is, so we wouldn't have to ask those questions?
we do, it's there, it's right there. Just I'm scrolled over just so that you could see any notes that I put. So it is here. It's just. It's just there, not, there you go.
you could collapse column R, maybe? Would that make it easier? Or,
It's okay.
Okay.
If you guys need to see the notes, I'll just tell you what they are.
okay, so why is the sewer up by 10,000?
Because that's what we issue in tax warrants.
Okay,
We issue sewer bills adding up to $19,488. So technically, that's what we should be expecting
right. So why did we not get that last year?
because people don't pay their tax bills.
Ah.
Yeah.
Their sewer tax warrant, okay.
Correct. And penalties and interest
Yeah,
will probably be more than that, especially since the pilot's not being paid in a timely manner, but I like to be conservative. Because it's not good to anticipate that you're getting a whole lot of revenue and then you don't get it. Then you have a bad surprise instead of a good one.
and it's just like, we have to be realistic about our expenditures,
Right.
you know, what we're at. Okay, motor vehicle,
Yep.
okay. Late fees for dog fine, okay.
Dog licenses.
Excuse me a minute. Motor vehicles.
Mhm.
That, we get that money here, or I thought some of that had to go to,
It does, but this is just revenue. So this is what we get paid. Expenses are on the other side.
Okay.
This is just what we collect.
It's confusing because
Excuse me.
it comes in and it goes out, but we have to show it here.
Yep. Dog fees, license fees. Vitals. We had a lot of marriages last year.
Hmm.
Guess that's good.
What's LNP? License and,
Like it's license and permits.
okay,
UCC fees, 2,000. That's what we usually get. We don't have any other permits or licenses, so. We had a lot of subdivisions last year. I don't foresee that this year, although I could be wrong. I see we have 2 on the docket already, so.
yeah. It's a busy planning board. meeting.
Great, we have another one, yeah. come on.
So I don't know if we want to increase that or just leave it.
Some of those go out and get paid for mail and,
Yes, but this is just revenue.
right, I know, but I'm saying if we increase that, we need to increase our expenses too.
Yep.
So it's probably a wash if we just leave
Probably.
it at that.
And you're probably looking at a few $100s. We're not talking about tens of thousands of dollars, so.
Right. And if we do more mitigation work in the summer, there'll be more money coming in, but we don't know that now. So this is just for work that's already been done.
This is for work that's been done
FEMA.
and what we've accepted and or not been paid. Correct. So that will definitely be higher, but
Can you ask Jamie about the meals and rooms tax distribution?
yeah, I'll ask her.
Because I thought the last I saw was that they were changing the distribution formula, and I don't know what that means for us. But I'm not staying on top of it.
But I thought that there was gonna be 1 or 2 years that they gave us nothing.
Oh, they keep cutting.
I thought so.
But it hasn't been voted on.
And yes, it has. It was in the
Okay.
2025 budget. I could be wrong. It's very confusing. I don't like the way that they word these bills because it's very confusing.
I thought they were gonna give us a flat rate, but I'm sorry for you.
Highway block grant, I'm expecting it to be about the same. They haven't issued the final numbers. We got, when they do it, the state year is July 1st to June 30th. So it doesn't run with our year. So when they tell us what we're getting, it's from July to June. So I know what we're getting this first half of the year. They haven't issued what we will be getting the second half. So to be conservative, I make it about the same. We've never really had a huge jump. The only time we saw an anomaly in what we received for the highway was when we got that special money for the bridge,
Yeah,
the 38,000.
and we spent that,
And we
so
spent
that-
that, so.
yeah.
Yep.
That's for this.
Forest Lake railroad tax, that doesn't change.
Will we get more railroad tax if they reactivate that railroad?
I would hope so. But I don't know. This 10,250 was a grant, so,
Okay,
this 73,650 is the 10% of the grant that we received. I did get an email from the consultant that he was almost done. He asked me for some items that he already had, but I separated them and sent them again to make sure that he knew that he had them this time. He's looking for one other thing and then he'll be able to submit his report, so we'll get that last bit for the solar grant. This 8,400 is the reimbursable amount of the hazard mitigation grant. We have not completed that, so we've not paid it, so we haven't submitted to be reimbursed for that yet. That rolled over from 2025. Miscellaneous income from departments, that will probably increase. The dog trainer using the gym has been working out really well. We got a check for $450 for January, so
so should we bump that up or leave it?
I don't know.
Maybe bump it up to, I don't know, 1,000? Does that? What do you think, Tom?
For the canines,
Well, it's for any fees for miscellaneous income.
Miscellaneous income from other departments, so. Yeah, I mean,
To include
Eh.
facility.
and she seems really happy with the setup, so. Good thing.
as long as it's paying the heat and electricity and,
Paying for
No.
more than that, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Pistol permits, yeah, $100 is pretty typical.
Oh, you already have it there,
Oh, I have it here, yeah.
so we should bump the other one back down.
What did I have it at, 400? I think so, yeah, I had it at 1,000 here, but that's for the North Star Canine, yep. Election revenue, who knows? I mean, this is, someone asked for a checklist, a signed checklist, someone wants a recount, who knows? Uh, Transfer station revenue.
Did we have more than usual last year for tires?
We must have.
Should we bump that number up at all, or?
It's up to you guys. Again, I like to try and stay conservative. It's
Yeah.
hard to tell whether people are gonna take their tires to the transfer station or throw them in a ditch. So,
Okay.
if there's any of those that you guys wanna increase. For the transfer station,
If anything, we'll get less because we're tightening up on who can use the transfer station.
do we wanna change any of those?
Tom?
Okay. Off the top of my head, no, I can't.
I didn't put anything in for sale of municipal property. There are properties that will come up to deed this year. That'll be a conversation for an,
But it takes a while,
Different
by the
meeting.
time they come up for deed before we actually sell them, is that usually a year or two process?
well, no. With the new state statute, you could do it within 90 days. You issue the letter. They have 30 days to say they want it. They have 30 days to pay for it. And then they buy it back. If they miss the 30 days saying that they want it, then you can list it for sale. They do have the opportunity to try and come back and buy it within 3 years, but that would be between them and the new owners, not us. Because we just have to go through that 90-day notification period. So
Do we need to put a placeholder in here like we do for expenditures?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think so because it's better to be conservative.
okay.
Where in expenditures, it's like you'd rather say you're gonna spend it. Where like here, if you get the revenue, you get the revenue.
For some things, in order to be able to spend on that line item, you need like $100 placeholder.
Right, but this is
This is revenue. okay.
revenue, so it's
I'm just-
different. Yep.
Checking on that. Okay,
Interest on investments. We did really, really well with our CD investments last year. We made good
They're-
interest.
where Nancy made arrangements, put it.
Yeah,
And then,
she did check into doing that. And right now, the rates are lower than what we get paid in our checking account.
Mhm.
So I was like, yeah, I'd just leave that right where it is then.
well, because with the FEMA money, it'd be nice to be able to put it somewhere like that.
Yeah, but I think she said it was like 0.35% or something.
Ooh,
I'm like, that's horrible. So
yeah,
I said, you leave it right there.
okay.
So, hopefully we'll get more than that, but that was definitely a nice surprise last year. Other miscellaneous revenue is just miscellaneous
Yeah.
donations or whatever. And then,
That's determined by town meeting.
yes, well, that's transferring from capital reserve, not
Right.
to capital reserve.
Right, that whatever we.
That's
in-
spending out of
capital,
capital
right,
reserve.
little pin on, yep.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
usually that's not planned, unless
Yeah.
you plan a big purchase or something like that. So that's where I've got us for 2026.
Okay. So we have about, I'm trying to remember on our expenditure side. It was like 1.2 million. Which would mean we'd have about 300,000 to raise from taxes, 300 Yeah, 300,000 to raise from taxes.
We went up
400,000, okay.
1.3 when we made those changes to the transfer station, which I was going through this today. And with the increase that was made in the hourly rate here, this is not enough money. You're gonna have to increase that. Working an average of 22 to 24 hours a week. So if we just say 24 times the new rate times the week, you're looking at 27.5.
Tom?
Yeah, that's to cover the wages, you have to.
Do we have an offer letter for him yet?
Yeah, actually, we'll get on that after we're done here.
Okay. So
We
this is
don't-
a,
Hopefully, we'll go back up to transfer station. Hopefully the disposal fees, if we can figure out ways of selling our recyclable, that'll go down.
yeah,
That may
Hopefully.
be. That may. Do we have as much recycling as we do regular trash? Do we have as much weight in recycling as we do in regular trash?
I don't think so, no.
So maybe we could drop that down to 60,000?
well, I don't know. Are they gonna charge us $170 a ton?
No, if they get it down at 55, that's what it's gonna be.
I'm gonna start taking my recycling to the
We could at least.
Home
we could
Depot or
at least drop
something.
it down to
I-
like 65 or 78 to compensate for the wages.
How about 65?
Well, yeah, but you can't say we're gonna have less disposal fees because we have more wages. You just,
How do you
and you
got-
went from 18 to 19 to 22. So your disposal fees aren't gonna decrease because you have higher wages.
Well, you got $40,000 and 25 for
And we weren't paying anything for recycling. Now we're paying for recycling.
So that's where my question was, do we have twice as much weight? Do we have an equal amount of weight for recycling as we do for
plus he's looking into.
trash per
Still looking
ton?
into the recycling done.
And hopefully it'll go down, but even if not, if we don't have as much weight in recycling as we do trash, then that 80 could go down even before we make other arrangements, because we don't know what we're gonna be able to do, so.
I would
We
rather
look
be
like, we
safe
have
than
like 50% weight,
sorry. We don't know. No
Yeah.
scale.
I know. 60,000? That 80 just seems high to me. Intuitively.
That's because we never had to pay for our recycling before. Glass is really heavy.
Oh, that's true, glass is heavy.
And are all of our metals now going into the metal dumpster?
Hopefully.
Yeah, as far as I know, we'll have to talk to Kyle.
I mean, because it doesn't make sense for people to put aluminum cans and tin cans and foil inside the transfer station if they're just gonna be dumped in the metal dumpster. People should just be putting them in the metal dumpster.
Right.
And then we know everything for metal is going into metal. And that's one less thing that Kyle has to handle. It doesn't make sense to handle things 3 or 4 times. Huh?
70,000?
I would leave it at 80.
Okay.
That's what I think, but that's my opinion.
What do you think?
Cause if you
Think
put
we
it
should
down to
have-
60,
What did you say for price? You talk softly, so I'm trying to hear you.
I know. What do you think we should have for disposal fees and transportation? Should we leave it at 80 or drop it down to 70 or?
I would go down to at least 70.
you go down to 70, and you end up spending 80, just remember that 10,000's gotta come from somewhere else.
And you're looking at that, we're gonna get charged $170 something a ton.
Well, that's what Casella told Kyle, so. Or that's what Kyle reported Casella told him. If it were me, I'm saying, really, you should honor your proposal and charge us 32 if you're gonna charge us anything, but. That's not under my umbrella.
What's today, Tuesday?
Yep.
It's Monday.
I mean, Kyle was here. Eric was here, you guys agreed on 80.
And Adam was here,
Yeah.
so should have a good handle on it. Okay.
I mean, I don't know, I don't remember how much Adam contributed to that conversation, but.
I think we'd still be safe at 70.
Shall we split the difference and do 75?
And the glass that don't make no sense on the glass. Glass, there should be a pit. Dug, because it came from the ground. If we dug a pit, then we could throw the glass in the pit as like a landfill. Cause it's not toxic, it's not, you know,
I don't know
think
what
that's something
DES's
we need
rule
to-
is on that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Bob been doing it for years out behind the highway department. I've been out there and I've seen the pile of glass. Plug your ears all you need to, the facts are the facts.
That's a DES question.
Then we should be calling them then, find out.
Okay, what are we doing with this number?
I told you my number.
So if we do 75, that's a compromise.
I'm gonna bet you guys a pizza that it's 80.
We'll have to see at the end of the year.
I should still be here.
I think Tom's compromise is 70, right, Tom? I mean, I'm not sorry to get in that, but
We do 40,000 a year right now. 40. And the amount of stuff that goes out there. I don't see it going up to 80. You think about how many trips he took before. You know, it wasn't very many trips. Per month.
I think we have some unknowns because we don't know what the fee's gonna be with Casella. I don't think we're gonna get any alternatives set up for a while. I think that's gonna take some time. You know. I was thinking it was high until I realized, oh yeah, glass is heavy. And even cardboard, is probably as heavy as municipal waste.
And paper.
And paper and stuff, so. I mean, I think I'd be comfortable with 80, but if we want to go down to 75, I think that's reasonable. 70, I think we're gonna be over it.
75.
Yeah.
Anything here? And we looked at all these before. I think transfer station just jumped out at me with the pay increase.
Yeah. I think the others we went through pretty carefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe we put $100 here just as a placeholder.
Yep. Do we need $100 under principal?
I
As
don't,
a placeholder?
I don't know if we do, but we'll put it in there just in case. It's $100. It's not gonna really make much of a difference.
And what about, just see under WLF vendor payments and other expenses, do we need a placeholder?
No, because usually that
Because
goes,
the subtotal is the welfare and we're set on that.
yeah, that goes in one of these two. Yeah.
Okay. Can we go back up to revenue? What I'm just curious at is what is our revenue from the transfer station that we're expecting?
$36,960.
I can't see where the subtotal is.
It's down in the very bottom,
I know.
36,960.
36,960.
Yes.
So we're subsidizing it by,
Almost $70,000.
yep. It's gone up from prior years.
Up $46,580. It's gone up.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're good on we're at proposed budget of 1,320,736. 10% increase.
So that means about 600,000 that we have to raise from taxes.
Almost 5, yeah. 795, 1/3. 1320. Yep. Yep. Are we good with these numbers to use for Thursday?
Tom?
No?
No, I'm not good with any of it.
Well, what do you
want my
propose to
opinion,
change?
tell me my
Well, that,
opinion. I just,
to use for.
no matter what I say, that
Well-
I can't explain it well enough to get you to understand, and you want what you want, you're gonna get what you want, and so.
Well, what do you propose changing?
I think we should stay at last year's budget, because I don't think we needed to go that high, you know,
So you want to stay at this budget,
yeah,
1.2 million?
yeah.
So that means Kyle doesn't get his raise. We don't increase welfare. We don't make any changes to.
Guess my question,
highway.
why is it, you know, every year it's going up, every year, and then you always say it's the cost of living. I understand that parts of cost of living, it does happen. But when this town started, when we moved here at 800,000, and now we're at 1 whatever they are, 3 million, whatever. I mean,
Have
that's-
any of your bills gone down? Your personal bills?
Yeah,
Your personal bills have decreased?
yeah,
Really?
yeah. So, I mean, it's,
Which ones? Cause
that's my business. I'm not gonna get into my personal
well,
business.
my
but
personal bills haven't gone down. All of, I mean, you look at going to the grocery store, you look
So
at
we have
gas,
any,
you look
I
at,
understand what you're doing. Don't, but
Well, it's not what you doing, it's what you're part of the board. This is what the board is looking at.
all right.
I mean, we sat here with Adam too and increased the highway department budget to make it what he felt was realistic.
And we could take part of that FEMA to keep it down to help the elderly. And their taxes.
So we're
we are.
talking about putting 400,000 into the
No,
general
we
fund.
don't have to go through it all again. I understand that now. I'm just saying that we could take some of that and use it to lower that budget to help with the elderly, the people that are on their last leg of life, trying to enjoy life before it's over with.
But that's where you're mistaken, is that you can't do that. You can't say for instance, the highway department, Adam is saying, I need $500,000 to adequately and effectively run the highway department and take care of the roads in town. And you can say, okay, fine, we're gonna give you 465. We'll just take the 35 from the FEMA money. You can't do that. DRA doesn't allow you to do that. You have to set a reasonable budget for what it's going to cost you to run the town. It's not me that's making the prices go up, or Joe Bath, or you, or Terry, or anybody else in town. It's the price of maintaining things and doing things. We don't like the taxes going up either. But it's the job of the town, the select board, to run the town. You can't say, Adam, I'm only giving you 465. So in August, when Adam has spent $465,000 already, he just says, well, we're not doing any highway work, and I guess I got the rest of the year off.
I understand that.
And that's why DRA looks at these things and approves these things. They,
And the thing about it is, we know times are hard, so why do we wanna jump right in and start buying trucks? We keep buying. And if we would just take and you set a thing for the trucks, a projection, which is good, and you start working towards it. Then when you get close enough to it, then it doesn't hurt the town. Because when you go to get the trucks, you gotta take the money. We gotta take that money and put it down before they would reimburse us.
so let me ask you this. If someone said, Tom, I'm gonna give you $250,000. You can spend it on anything you want. I'm gonna give you $250,000. You gotta spend it and then submit to me what you purchased, and I'm gonna give you that money back. You wouldn't do that?
If it's gonna hurt other people, don't.
How would it hurt? It's just like the FEMA work, like the mitigation work.
Well, you gotta have that money there to be able to do it.
Yes, but
Build it, do it.
you've gotta spend money to make money, right? So why would you not apply for a grant and pay 5% of the cost of something?
And you do.
We're spending the money regardless of whether we get new vehicles or we continue to limp along with the old vehicles. You sign the checks every month. You see, I mean, I think I've got over.
I'm not accusing you for nothing.
No,
Please don't go there.
no. I'm not saying you are, but I think I've got $3,000 or $4,000 in parts bills to fix the vehicles that we have.
Yeah, I know.
And it's
I've seen
only
them.
February 9th.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about in my office, we haven't even paid yet.
Right.
So
It's been so cold and it's been rough and it.
regardless of how the money's spent, it's going to be spent.
I understand.
If we don't take advantage of grant opportunities when they're available, then we get caught with our pants down, and come November or something next year, if that 10-wheeler dies, like completely dies, and it's $100,000 to fix it, where are we gonna get $100,000 to put into a truck that's 20 years old? When we could have spent $20,000 and gotten a brand new truck. You've gotta weigh the pros and the cons, and I don't see anything in our budget, quite honestly, I don't see anything in our budget that is um unnecessary. I don't. And I'm a pretty conservative person. I don't like the fact that we're having to increase our transfer station budget by 70 some percent, but
It needs to be looked in a little bit more.
it's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. We have to be able to get rid of our trash. It's a service the town has to provide. It's a reality of it. Nothing is cheaper.
It's like with the highway, I mean, we sat here with Adam and tried, it got bumped up. We tried to be realistic about what he needs for sand and gravel and all those things. So do we move forward with this? Or if not, what do you want to change specifically?
I told you what I'd like to do, but.
Well,
it
you
doesn't
wanted,
look-
you
doesn't
wanted to
look like-
increase it by,
It doesn't look like it's gonna happen because you're gonna continue arguing until I'm blue in the face. So just do what you gotta do.
There,
This is my last year and it doesn't matter anymore.
well, there's not really any, I mean, there's no argument needed. It's,
Right,
hey, is this what we're gonna use to present on Thursday? Again, just like the Warren articles, you don't have to personally agree with it or personally like it. You have to be able to say, I'm okay with the select board moving forward and presenting this. Just like the Warren articles, at the end of the day, the town makes the decision. Whether it's with you or against you, the town makes the decision. None of us want the taxes to go up, but we have to be able to run the town.
I know that.
So, I mean, unless there's specific things, and if you're just saying, nope, get rid of every increase and every decrease and slide back to the 2025 budget, I mean, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but if that's what the town wants to do, then that's what happens. But then every increase, every whatever goes away. So increases for the highway go away, the increase for Kyle goes away, any cost of living increase for me and anybody else goes away, everything goes away. And some things you can't decrease, like benefits. We have an employee who decided to go on our benefits this year. You can't take that away from him legally. So it's part of the municipal management process. It's not easy. That is for sure.
I make a motion that we move forward with the revenue and expenditures as currently presented for the budget hearing on Thursday night.
Can you move forward if I abstain?
No,
No,
we're stuck.
Yeah, let the town speak.
I mean, would you be happy if we dropped the transfer station down to 70K? I mean, I don't, that's $5,000. I haven't heard any other specific suggestion for making cuts.
Because I don't know actuals, even though I see it, I don't know actuals, that's why it's very difficult. You don't even know actuals, I mean, far as the, Adam, for instance, coming in and laying it out, or the fire department,
Well,
it's
yeah,
whatever.
I mean, we've got the actual expenditures in column E.
nobody knows what this year is gonna bring.
So for the highway department, they spent 625,500. And we're only asking for 508,470. But that is up 9% from last year's budget. So I have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
alright,
Aye, thank you.
Okey-dokey.
Is there anything else we need to?
We do have a non-public, unless you guys wanna wait and do it on Thursday, but Thursday could be later than tonight, so.
Yeah,
It is for. Hold on, please. It is for. $91A3(2)(C). Matters which, if discussed in public, would likely adversely affect the reputation of any person other than a board member. This exemption includes any application for assistance or tax abatement or waiver of fees, fines, or other levies if based on inability to pay or poverty of the applicant.
okay. I make a motion that we go into non-public to deal with, sounds like a tax abatement request.
Yeah.
can we take, one, before I do that? Or do you wanna just wait on the draft on, the transfer station?
I'll do that first.
Yeah,
So. I was going over it and this is, I get the same thing, they're basically the same way, same thing, but. I like how you get this printed out, but I'd like to see some other things taken care of, and I think that. That this, he should show up at least every quarter. To report to the board on what's going on.
okay, that's a
Then,
good point.
and then, monies received must be given to the administrator to be processed on a daily basis. He can't be holding that money.
He gives it to us weekly.
Oh, it would, yeah, as long as it, because I know it's supposed to, when you get it, it's supposed to be, and he should be holding it.
He does it weekly.
Yeah.
I get it every
Because on
Monday.
Saturday, you're not open.
Right, I get it every Monday.
And, yeah, that was it. I just still put the attend meetings, every quarter is good if he comes in every quarter.
Okay,
Like different departments ought to do that, but anyways, regardless, and I think too that if there's something special, he can put it on the agenda and come in and talk to them, but other than that, this looks pretty good. So. You're good with that?
Well,
I'm good
that's-
with that.
that's a position description. Now we need an offer letter, which can be based off of this. So the money will be weekly.
I think there is something in the RSA's about money on how it's supposed to hold the money if it's,
$1,500
is it-
if you have a bank in town. Yeah, it's a treasurer RSA. Yes.
yeah,
Okay. So do you want me to, I'll just make these revisions and send it out and we can act on it at our next regular meeting
sounds
in
good.
terms of, and I'll try to do an offer letter as well.
I want that.
Offer letter? This is a job description,
Oh, yeah,
so a letter of offer that would be countersigned by Kyle accepting
Yeah,
the terms.
yeah.
Can I have this, or I can probably remember
No,
the
you can have
changes?
that.
Okay, I make a motion that we go into non-public.
Second,
All in favor?
uh,
Aye.
Pausing the recording to go into non-public. We're back from non-public.
Okay, I make a motion that we seal the minutes from the non-public session.
second,
All in favor? Aye. I make a motion that we adjourn the
Second.
meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Yep.